What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Off the Rails. As you may or may not know, Off the Rails Recovery is a podcast dedicated to ending the stigma of addiction through open discussion on all things recovery related. My name is Mark, and with me always is Dave.
Oh, I thought I was going to have to introduce myself there.
I was waiting to see if you were going to, but I also did a little dramatic pause, buddy.
Oh, okay. I like that. Thanks, man.
And today we got a very special episode for you.
Yeah, today we got an episode on fitness,
something very near and dear to mine and Dave's hearts.
Yeah.
And a huge part of our recoveries.
Yeah, it's been really fortunate that I've kind of found a good routine with it right now, and it's been helping a lot. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Should we just jump right into it?
We have from Blais Performance and Wellness, Dave Blais, who I've known for a while personally. Great guy. He runs a gym in Barrie, Ontario, and works with a lot of hockey players, but all sorts of different athletes and adults as well. So super pumped he's joining us. So we'll roll to Mr. Blais. Oh, all right. Now we're welcoming to the show the owner of Blais Performance and Wellness. We got Mr. Dave Blais here joining us. Thanks for joining us, Dave.
Thanks for having me, guys. We're looking forward to our discussion and our chat.
Yeah, thanks again, Dave. And as we kind of mentioned to you, we're heading into our second season here, and what we want to do are provide tools and things for people in recovery that aren't necessarily first thing to come to mind when we look at recovery. So we're very thankful to have you here and share your expertise with us today. So if you want to get started, man, how did you kind of get working in your profession, and what sort of range of people do you work with?
So I've always been an active person, just, love training. Obviously started working out for hockey and stuff like that, and just kind of just became my passion. And then, you've kind of find out like different ways to get into this industry and stuff like that. So it just came from just like lifting weights when I was really young. My dad was always had a weight set in the basement. Over the years, I've niched down to working specifically with young kids, but I usually start as a personal trainer at a gym. So you'd work with people from like early 20s that just want to get a little stronger. Then you get a lot of like adults too that want to weight loss and things like that. And then, like I said, over the years, I just niched down to more sports specific and working with younger kids from 8 to like 19, 20 years old.
Awesome. So I think the biggest thing, we're talking about exercising and for health today. And I think most people would agree. Most people think automatically about the physical benefits, to working out and exercising. But, there's a number of benefits for mental health too. Can you speak on some of those?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think now, especially nowadays, it's the industry's changed where a lot of people do train, not still the aesthetic part of it. Back in the day, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like we always wanted to be big like that. But nowadays, I think it's really a lot of people are more active and train more for the mental benefit. And I think a lot of people realized, it's not just what it does to you physically, but mentally. So with training, when you do get in the weight room or any kind of activity, runners or whatever your thing is, basically releases dopamine, and dopamine makes you feel better, more aroused and things like that. And then it also it lowers your stress levels. So there's a big neurological component, like the effects of your brain when you move your body. Whether that's running, lifting weights, jiu-jitsu, hockey, whatever your activity is, as soon as we get the body moving, that's where you get that kind of like that good feeling from. It's basically a release of dopamine within the body. And then with anything, it's just once you're in a good routine, a good habit, you just start feeling better about yourself and things like that. And it's also, you know, people releasing stress. You know, if you're stressed and you know, you have anxiety and stuff like that, once you increase your activity, you know, all those things go down because it balances out your dopamine levels and stuff like that.
Awesome answer, man.
I just had a follow up on that, Mark, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Have you noticed a change in that for you when you first started in the industry to now, when you talked about people looking at it more for their mental health? Like early on when you started as a trainer, was it primarily people really just looking for the physical benefits, and now you see a lot more, you know, maybe not so much for you because you work with a lot of young athletes, but for any adults you've had that maybe are more really focused on just coming in to work on the mental health? You've seen that kind of shift for yourself?
Yeah, I think it goes there's kind of a, you know, if I think back, you know, I was 20 when I first started training, and just me as a coach too, right? The conversation has changed because I've obviously now I have kids. I'm 40 years old, so now it's just my discussions with my clients are different. Like, it's like, let's get to the root of, like, you know, what's holding you back type thing. But definitely you like, even with young kids and athletes, it's like, I think the conversation is just more open now, you know, like the Bell Let's Talk, and like we're just as a society talking about mental health more, and a lot more people are aware about it. So I think it's just more of an open, like, it's an open platform now where a lot of people are talking about, like your podcast, for example. You know, just this stuff wasn't really around back then. And, you know, I'm sure you guys talked to a lot of people. We wouldn't really open up to other people, right? But now I think it's, you know, a lot of as a society, we see the benefits of, like, you know, let's just open up and, you know, share our emotions, and it's okay. It's okay to do that stuff, right? I think just back then, it just, you know, it just wasn't part of the conversation. So, you know, even with, like, young kids, like my kids, like Max is 10, you know, he has anxiety with homework and school stuff and so forth, but him being active, it's like that really drops down his anxiety. So I see that, like, he doesn't know what's going on, but as a parent, you know, I see that in my kid, and when he's not doing his sports and stuff like that, you know, I hate to bring it up, but like COVID, kids weren't as active and people weren't as active, and you really seen anxiety and stress and you know, all that stuff kind of go on the up. So I think people appreciate, you know, exercising more and the benefits it has on our mental health.
Absolutely, man. That was well said. So Dave, one thing, you know, in addiction, you kind of want results right now, and you know, working out and exercising, that might not always be the case, and it can kind of be a slower process. So when you're working with clients, how do you kind of keep their motivation up right at the beginning stages?
So motivation's a tough one, right? Like, motivation's not always going to be there, right? It's like, you know, some days we're motivated to whatever, do this podcast, or, you know, show up to work or train. So, you know, being motivated helps, but it's more, you know, teaching people discipline and structure. So building a routine, right? So if you have a plan, you know what you're doing the next day, or you know what you're doing that day, and you're more likely to succeed, right? But if it's just like, okay, you're gonna hire me as your strength coach or trainer, and I just go, okay, come in when you want. It's like, that's not gonna work, right? So for me, like with my business, it's like I provide structure and routine, with scheduling classes and so forth, and setting up a game plan of, like, okay, what is your training journey going to be like? So it's with anything, you need to have a structured plan in place to succeed. So you look at pro athletes, it's all about routine. You know, the most successful athletes are people, business, everyone has a routine, right? It's when we don't have a routine and we try and wing it, that's when, you know, you can get sidetracked from your fitness journey. And then, you know, it's like, okay, I'll start tomorrow, and then tomorrow becomes a week, then it's a month. And, you know, now you lost all that motivation. You're all fired up, but it's, you know, being disciplined and kind of, that's what I provide my clients, is that discipline with your structured routine and so forth, and game plan.
So it'd be fair to say then, like, the most important thing about a workout plan, maybe not necessarily how many sets you're doing or how many days a week or whatever body part you're doing, but it's more about, you know, getting that routine in. figuring out your routine?
Yeah, for sure. So it's, plan out your week. Like for me, for example, like from a personal standpoint is like Sunday, I prepare my meals and then I'm going to set out what I'm doing that week for training. So, I like lifting weights, but also I'm into jiu-jitsu. So I like Thursday, at 10 a.m., I got my jiu-jitsu class. Like that's in my schedule. So clients can't book in at 10 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday. Like that's my time. And, we got to be disciplined with what we want in our lives and in our day-to-day actions, right? So those are my anchors where I'm like, I can't miss those. And then I'll weight train Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 o'clock. Like those are just in there. Like I know the times are ready. And, some things come up where, I might have to move it, but it's setting, like you said, it's not so much about, okay, the workout plan. It's not, step one is schedule your time and like, you got to make that's your time. You can't be like, oh, well, I can maybe move this. It's like, no, I'm not doing your podcast at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday or Friday. I'm training, right? So we're going to have to book around my schedule, right? So once again, going back to that discipline, discipline and dedication is going to give you success, right? Some days I'm not motivated, but I know at 1 o'clock I have nothing else going on but, to train. So
Dave, you kind of mentioned your schedule. Is there like a recommended number of days that someone should incorporate working out into, say, their weekly schedule?
Yeah. So for me, it's like I'm a big guy on like being active, like a big guy. Like we just talked about mental health, and it should be done daily. Like it really should be done daily. Everyone's at different levels. So you don't have to train hard. Like we can get in that discussion as well, but just talking from like, once again, talking for me personally, I'm a 40-year-old. Like I still think I'm an athlete competing in jiu-jitsu and, hockey and stuff like that. But just my overall health and my longevity, like my goal is to be like one of the fittest grandfathers ever. So my kid's only 10, right? But like, so eventually when he has kids, I want to be that, super fit grandpa that can play mini sticks with my grandkids or, do cartwheels and somersaults with my grandkids and things like that. So, so it's really like we should be active every day, whether that's going out for like a hike, lifting weights, running. It's like, what is your thing? It's like the industry kills me. And like when it's like, oh, running is the best to lose weight. Weights is best to lose weight. And it's so confusing. It's like at the end of the day, like going back to, motivation and stuff like that. It's like, well, if you hate running, why are you running? Well, this Men's Health said running 20 minutes a day said it's the best for your health. But it's like, if it makes you miserable, like that's not good for your health either. So it's, be active every day and find what you want to do. Do you like to stretch? Do you like to lift weights? Do you like to, even like playing hockey or playing some kind of, adult recreational activity? It's like we should be doing something every day.
Okay, so let me ask you that. I like that answer because I'm not a big fan of running, and now I feel okay about it. But let's say, for me personally, let's say I'm enjoying lift at this stage of my life right now, and it may change over time, obviously. But I'm really into I like lifting right now. Is it okay to be lifting, every day if you're doing different body parts, or should you take days off when we're talking about specifically lifting weights? And
yeah, so yeah, lifting every day, you can definitely do that. And then this is where we get in, and I don't want to go too hardcore into like the science of things, but just once again talking to like general population, like I'll lift pretty much 7 days a week, or 5 days a week, but you can definitely do that. It's just how hard are you going? What are you doing? So moderation is better. Like a 20-minute strength set workout every day is great. And it's like you can hit the same body part at the same time. It's, this body part stuff, it's like from bodybuilders. Like bodybuilders, where they get their mass and size is they'll do chest on a Monday or something now, or in one day, and they'll do like 10 exercises. Right. So you can't train like that every day. Like you can't do bench press and 50 other chest exercises every single day. But if you do like push-ups, whatever, 4 sets of 10 push-ups. You're doing 40 push-ups in a day, then you do 10 squats or whatever else you're doing. Then the next day is like you can do another variation of a push-up or another variation of a chest exercise like bench press or something like that, because you're only doing one exercise versus like, yeah, you can't like have like 20 exercise every day on the same muscle group. Then your body will just deplete and stuff like that. So you can definitely train every day. And going back to your question too, saying it's phases, it really is phases. And that's like, like training in your health is a journey, right? It's like our life, our whole life is a journey. So, if you're into running, maybe you run for like a year, you hammer out a marathon and you're like, well, now I know I don't have a goal. My goal was to do a marathon. So you train for a year, then you hit it. And then you're like, well, now what do I do? Right. And so now maybe it's something else. Maybe you want to get into, weightlifting or yoga or something along those lines. So it's don't be afraid to kind of change your path based on, how you're doing. Like if I have a bad knee and I can't squat anymore, well, there's other things you can do, right? And stuff like that. So I like how you brought that up, where it's like the phase you're at right now is like lifting is your thing. Great. And maybe it will change later on down the road, and that's okay. As long as we're being active, there's no weights are the best. I'm a big weight guy. Like people should be doing way more strength training. So for sure, that is super important. And a lot of people don't do enough strength training, but it's also too, is like, what are your goals? What are you striving towards? And what do you want to get out of your body?
Dave, one thing for me is that I find exercising daily is so good for my confidence. And I don't know if this is something you find with your clients, but if so, do you notice that, an increase in confidence when training them? And do you ever see it roll over into other areas of their lives?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, working with athletes, like that's exactly it. It's like when you come to train with me or you have your training program and plan, it's like you're building your confidence knowing you did what you need to kind of get that next level. Excuse me. So, with me specifically, like one of my guys, he's just got called up to the Chicago Blackhawks, and his big thing was they wanted to be more physical this upcoming year. So now he has the confidence where he pushed and he did the right things, like training wise. So he has the confidence to play at the highest level of his sport. So it 100%, it comes from like you're putting in the practice, right? It's you put in the work, so you have the confidence knowing like I did what I need to prepare, and now I can take on this task or this challenge and so forth, right? So it's learning to push our body, even if it's like, a light little workout, but you're pushing your body a little more. And then, you're like, wow, I've been on this training journey for a whole year now. And it's just like, it just snowballs. When you do the right things, you feel good about yourself. And like, that's where that confidence comes from.
Amazing. So I imagine how you exercise depends on your goals, obviously, like you've kind of already talked about that. But for someone that's, just wanting to get either back into it or, maybe hasn't really done any exercising at all in their life before, what do you recommend to get started? What do you recommend they focus on kind of first, let's say, of everything? Or I have a feeling you're just going to say get moving, but is there something?
Yeah. Get moving. But it's once again, it's tough. Like when you're in a rut, it's easier said than done, right? Just like, okay, like just go outside right now and start walking. Well, some people can be in a bad place, right? Or like some people might have like just broke their leg and they can't actually walk, right? So getting moving is the general answer. But maybe it's like trying to find what motivates you and keep it simple. So at the end of it, you don't need a gym membership. You don't need equipment. Like I'm in a gym, I have all this stuff. So it's body weight stuff is great. So walking, running, you just need some shoes. And some people don't use shoes. They just like to run bare feet on grass. So just running or walking, that's going to take care of your cardiovascular health. And then body weight exercises, push-ups, body weight squats, things along those nature. Once again, you don't need anything. You just have your body weight. well, I can't do push-ups, like bad shoulders, or if you're not strong enough, you can always use a couch or do a variation of a push-up. Everyone can squat. Well, you can't squat as low, just get moving, right? That goes to your answer, like that simple answer. It's like do a quarter squat, right? If you're a little heavier or you're weak, quarter squat. And then, so that'll take care of your physical strength. So your bone density, your lean muscle mass, that'll help. So those are the simplest thing, is just use your body and get your body moving with some kind of routine of running or walking, or a combo of both. And then doing some body weight squats and some body weight exercises like push-ups, and we all know crunches and all that stuff. Like just get that body moving. Don't worry about like, oh, these 10 best core exercises, or you also get like, oh, you shouldn't do these exercises because it's bad for this or bad for that. If you're just getting started, just get moving and try and find that routine and that discipline, right? Of like, maybe you're not going to do it every day, like I suggested earlier. If you go from 0, can you do it twice a week? And set it in your schedule, where it's like, Monday morning, first thing I do, I'm going to go for a walk. It's like, you got to sit down, journal, and put that in your schedule. That's like, I can't stress that enough. Not just like, okay, I'm motivated, just listen to Dave and Off the Rail podcast. Like, yeah, I'm training, I'm going hard right away. I'm going to buy a membership, and then you get all motivated, but then you're not disciplined. There's no routine, no structure. Now your motivation's gone. Well, your motivation's not gone. It's just you didn't plan, you didn't prepare to succeed, right?
That's awesome. I like how I'm a huge routine and structure guy, and one thing for me is planning out my weeks. And I think for someone, say like new in recovery, if you're just getting into trying to build a new routine or structure, and you want to add in exercise, is there an optimal time to exercise, or is it one of those things like, let's just make sure you get it in there that day?
Yeah, it's just, we don't have to overcomplicate it. Just get it in, whatever works for you. But early morning, I don't do that. Like, I don't work out at 5 a.m. But early morning is like, once again, it's no secret. A lot of successful people get up, get moving very early in the morning, right? So I'm not a morning person. I'm not this. Well, the morning is the best, because it's like, before anyone else wakes up, it's like anything we do. It's like, it's going to set your mindset for more success during the day. The first thing you did is you had success, you took care of yourself, and now the rest of the day is just like bonus, right? So morning would be optimal. But if you're just starting out, like, just plan it and get it in. Like, like if you're a shift worker, right? You're probably not going to work out like early in the morning. So it's like, find out what works with your schedule. And at the end of the day, it's like, whoever does it the most is going to have the most success. You can't speed up, fitness. You can't speed up like recovery. It's just, you just got to start making those steps and building those blocks. So just plan it in your schedule and get it in when you can.
That's awesome. I like that answer. I find on a personal note, when I was working my job, if I was saving it for after work, I always had so many excuses that I was just too tired to get the workout in. So, and I had a hard time in the morning doing it. So it was like, I think looking back, I would have needed to be that guy to get it done first thing in the morning. But
yeah, and we can't lie about it. It's going to be tough. Like, life is tough. Things are challenging. And so it's like you said there, years later, you're reflecting back, but yeah, like you're not going to go after a long day of work. You get these emails, you got to deal with tough clients or people. It could be draining. And then the first thing you want to do is go home and just kind of lounge around. Right. So, but you have to find that dedication. And once you get that routine going, as we know, once you start that routine, things will kind of get easier. But at the end of the day, it's like, I've been doing this 20 years. I've been 6 months without training before, right? But I've never been years without training. That's where I kind of, 6 months, I'm like, hey, get your lazy ass off the couch and let's get going. So.
Awesome.
Dave, do you have any more questions for Dave?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, that's it for me as well, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us today, man.
No, I really appreciate it. It was good fun and good conversation. Always like talking fitness and training and stuff like that. So, just to kind of sum it up, it's, people out there, it's going to be tough, but you're going to feel so much better if you just focus on even like this month, like March is coming up. If you're not doing anything, maybe you can start running or walking and doing your push-ups and body weight squats 2 times a week, and it's compound effects, right? By the end of the month, you got 8 workouts in, and you give it 30 days and you're going to feel a difference, right? There's always work to do, but if you can just start by walking, running, doing some push-ups and squats, that's a good starting point from there.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You got Mark and Dave here. And we just had a great time talking to Dave Blais.
Yes.
And
it was good to see him again.
Yeah, he did an amazing job, and I think provided us with a lot of useful information regarding recovery and exercise. And it can be an amazing tool for someone new to recovery and old to recovery. It's helpful to everyone. And Dave, what do you think of the interview, man?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And you know what? I was a little concerned on how, with this kind of topic, you can go on a lot of different tangents, I think, like talking about all different areas of fitness. I mean, it's like, you can go on forever about lifting weights or running. And I thought the way he kind of explained different things and simplified it just kind of broadly. And I thought it was awesome. And, I had a really good takeaway I liked. Hope I'm not stealing it from you. But when we talked about motivation, and he said routine and discipline is much more important, to your plan than any kind of motivation. And, that's really true. I find that to be very true.
I like that as well. I also liked I also like talking about exercise for the mental health benefits. And, a lot of times we'll train because we want to look a bit better or be a bit stronger, but there are so many benefits for your mental health. And I think that's important to be highlighted. Personally, it helps my depression, helps my anxiety, increases my confidence. And I'm really thankful to be able to, to exercise daily, and something I'm grateful for, man.
Yeah. Ditto here. Well said.
Yep.
I agree with all that.
One thing I liked, he talked about goals.
Yeah.
Right. So working towards specific goals, and I think there's an importance of goal setting in anything we do, right? Whether it be recovery, stay sober just for today, that's a goal, or working out. I want to work out 5 times a week type thing. I want to achieve this in exercising. It gives us something to work towards. And it's one thing I like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I could keep ranting if you want. I could keep going on about things I loved about this episode.
No, I like it. I like you ranting. It's good. I also kind of, while he was talking, had a little thought of my own. Is I had a hard time, previously really getting into a good exercise routine. Obviously, when, you're putting poison in your body, no matter what it is, at an unhealthy rate, it's probably going to be difficult to have any success in kind of the active lifestyle. It's something I found not right away, but at some point in recovery is, I really found a light bulb go off. I may have mentioned before, where I finally doing exercise and then working out for me and for my own health benefits, and not for, the aesthetics or to, look good or whatever. I mean, that's obviously maybe a byproduct of it eventually, but it's not the number one focus.
Yep.
And I found that when he started to talk about, right now for me, and for yourself, lifting, doing a lot of weight workouts is kind of where we're at. But I found it cool to think about the possibilities of like what maybe I'll get into in a year or 2 years down the road. And it could be anything. And as long as it's something active, I'm really looking forward to that, because I don't know. I never really thought about my future that much in my active days. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That's that was well said.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, I like how and as you mentioned, we're both into lifting now, and I kind of fires me up to think about like what sort of exercise I'll be into down the road type thing. And I also love biking, and it's really cool, man. And I don't know.
Yeah.
That was well said. Made me very.
What's that?
I don't know. That made me feel hopeful.
Yeah. You know what else made me feel hopeful too is when he said, if you don't enjoy running, you don't have to run.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a good dude, man. And I like how, I guess there's more. I don't know. I don't know even how I'm going to say this, but he wasn't all in on one thing, right? Like more different things work for different people, right? And it's just about kind of getting out and exercising and moving your body, and the benefits are crazy. So if you can just get out and get for a walk, that could be a huge thing for you, type thing.
Yeah. And try different things, right? That's kind of like one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing right now with season 2. Give you some different things to maybe learn about, and then possibly try, and maybe you fall in love with something you maybe didn't know about before, right? Or knew very little about. So yeah.
Dave, another thing I liked.
Yes.
And I mentioned it, I'm a huge structure and routine guy.
Yeah, you are.
And to me, exercise and recovery are parallel in that manner, where you need to plan and you need to have a structured routine to be successful in either. And as they say, I've heard this quote a couple times: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Huh?
That's a good one.
Huh?
Yeah, I like that. So
true. Yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's a very good dude. Yeah.
We'll include his information in the bottom, in the description. And anything else you want to add, Dave?
No, I think that's it, man. I'm just happy we're here.
I am too, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're rolling with some guest interviews again. It feels good.
It does feel good. It feels great.
So guys, please like, subscribe, comment, do all the good things, follow us on social media, and reach out and tell us what you think of the episode. We appreciate you all. And if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out. We will do whatever we can to help. Thank you so much for listening.